Hello, epic viewers from around the multiverse. Brace yourself for unprecedented epicness, because today, another riveting, captivating, stellar unboxing video is about to commence. What items will I be unboxing? What items will I be opening? Without further ado, without further delay, without further procrastination, allow me to elicit the box. Now, recently I procured a Freddy Krueger action figure lot via eBay for $90 total. Do I have any qualms appertaining to buying this lot? At the moment, I do not. So, without further delay, let's render the contents of the lot transparent. This box was relegated to another box. In order to save time, I removed the other box. That other box is going to be discarded in the pending future. So, this box right here will be retained. These are NECA figurines, so they're fragile, and you should handle them gingerly. Always be wary when handling NECA action figures. So we have 6 variants of Freddy Krueger. Which one is my favorite? I love the long arms Freddy Krueger figure. Here's one of them. As you can unequivocally see, he's missing his infamous hat. His arm is protruding out. Unfortunately, to my dismay, he's lacking articulation in his knees. He's devoid of knee joints. He does have single jointed elbows. He can swivel his head, and he can slightly rotate his waist, but is encumbered by his sweater. Interestingly enough, even though he can't ascend and descend his legs, he does possess the ability to rotate his feet. So, here's Freddy Krueger. Now, I don't want to unravel all the packaging. Why, you may ask? Well, repackaging these figures is going to be a nightmare within itself. And you may say, oh, it's asinine to not check the conditions of these figures, but I don't have the luxury of being able to display them on my shelves. I've exhausted all my shelf space. So, here's a Surgeon Freddy figure. Here's a better view. I just need to make sure that I got all 6. And I can discern which Freddy is which just by looking at their shoes. So, I know this is unusual, but oh, here we go. Here's another Freddy. I believe he's derived from Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So this one looks more demonic, more sadistic, more menacing, more intimidating, more cunning, more conniving, more malignant, more malign, and more malevolent relative to the other Freddy Krueger figures. He looks like he has a vendetta against his adversaries, and he looks like he has a ravenous appetite for carnage and mayhem. So, just tuck him back in. I didn't expect them to be packaged like this. Here's Surgeon Freddy's face. This is a disaster, but whatever. You do the best you can. Here's a long arms Freddy figure with his removable arms. Here we go. Here's the Freddy Krueger from the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I think I showcased either 4 or 5 thus far. I think 5. Don't worry, I'm going to showcase listing at the end. Let me just put these down on the bed. The only reason I'm not unraveling the packaging is because I don't want to have to rewrap them. You may say, oh, you're being lazy, but I'm really pressed for time and I really have to package all my figures and relegate them to toast, and repackaging figures is just something that I don't have time to do. If it could be averted, then I prefer to avert it. And here's another Freddy Krueger that looks akin to the first one I showed you. I believe he's from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. So 5 of the figurines I believe are NECA figurines, and one of them is likely a Mezco figurine. And here's the long arms Freddy figure. Here's one of the arms. So once again, the long arms Freddy figure. The Wes Craven's New Nightmare demonic Freddy figure. They're all demonic, but he looks eminently demonic relative to the others. And then of course we have the Freddy Krueger figure from A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. This one, I don't know if you could see the face. It's obscured by the packaging. He's from the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. And then of course we have the Surgeon Freddy figure. You can better see his face if I try to push him out a bit more. And then the one figure that has been 100% removed from the packaging is this Freddy Krueger. Was the extended hand that's protruding out. It looks extra long. It looks like it's elongated. Unfortunately, to my dismay, he's missing his hat. Now let me just showcase the lot in its entirety. And I apologize about how I curated the lot, but yet again, I really don't have time to repackage everything. I'm pressed for time. I have a pending move that I have to deal with and that I have to cope with, and I can't afford to repackage everything. I just don't have the time. My time is sacrosanct and finite, so I apologize. I also don't receive any remuneration from these videos. And if I did, I mean, I'd be lucky if I would get a penny from this video, so I just can't warrant. I'm expending so much time unpackaging and repackaging them and wasting time and materials. So here is the lot I bought. Here's those 6 of them. The seller did know some issues. I'm going to quickly go over them. But one issue that I discovered is that the long arms Freddy figure is missing a hand, so he's technically incomplete. And let's move on. After the long arms Freddy figure, we have the Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street remake, and I believe he's missing his hat. Now this figure was likely turned out by NECA, but it may be a Mezco figurine, but I doubt it. So I think he was turned out by NECA as opposed to Mezco, but you can verify that for yourself. Now here we have the Surgeon Freddy. He has the alternative head, but one of his fingers is missing the blade for the claw, so he's technically incomplete, which is unfortunate. Now I only have 3 Freddy Krueger hats. Actually I have 4. So one of the figures is technically missing a hat. But I presume one size fits all heads. So the Surgeon Freddy Krueger figurine is not meant to wear standard run-of-the-mill Freddy Krueger hat, but other Freddy figurines are. This figurine seems to be complete. Same with this figurine, and this figurine was likely from a Nightmare on Elm Street, the original one. The other figurine was the lighter color scheme, and some more vibrant colors. I think he's from a Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, I'm not sure. Actually, this figure, I think, was from a Nightmare on Elm Street, the original one. And then the other 2 figurines in the upper left-hand corner are from a Nightmare on Elm Street Parts 2 and 3, possibly. The Surgeon Freddy figurine may be from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5 or 6. And the Freddy Krueger figurine that is donning the trench coat, he's likely from Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and he has a bone claws as opposed to the synthetic metallic claws. So I technically have 6 Freddy Krueger action figures now. I believe I have some other Mezco ones relegated to TOS. These figures, for the most part, seem to be incomplete. The Surgeon Freddy Krueger figurine is missing the blade for one of his fingers. And, hold on. Sorry about that. I apologize about that. This Freddy Krueger figurine from the remake seems to be missing a hat. And then I guess the other 3 Freddy Kruegerines may possibly be complete. I know this one isn't. This one is definitely incomplete because it's missing its alternative head. So, the Long Arms Freddy figurine is missing a hand. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm missing, but the figures, I guess, for the most part, are either barely complete or slightly complete. But yeah, I really have no qualms about buying these figures, even if they're incomplete. I'm not going to pay double the price for a completed or a complete Freddy Krueger action figure line. So 5 of them seem to be NECA figurines. The other one seems to be a Mezco figurine, so not a bad purchase per se. For $90, it's a bit pricey, it's a bit exorbitant, but it is what it is. I just can't afford to pay the additional $10 per figurine just to have completed figurines. So as a bonus, I'll just further remove this figure. Do you prefer the darker color scheme for a sweater or the lighter color scheme? I prefer the lighter color scheme. It just pops out more. down. He definitely looks menacing and demonic. So I hope that you found this video to be intriguing and enthralling. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Goodbye.